Understanding the nature of truth. In order to embark on an exploratory journey to attain a greater understanding of the truth, it's important for us to be clear about what truth actually is. After all, it is evident that what can be true for one person may not be true for another. For instance, it may be true for me that all human beings are intelligent. But perhaps the truth for you is that some human beings are not intelligent. This brings us to the realization that truth can be both relative and absolute. Let's consider these aspects in detail. Relative truth. Relative truth is subjective and varies from person to person based on their experiences, beliefs, perspectives, and feelings. For example, consider the statement, "All human beings are intelligent." This may hold true for me based on my personal encounters, feelings, and the individuals I have interacted with. However, for someone else, this may not be the case due to different experiences, feelings, and observations. Relative truths are shaped by individual perceptions and can differ widely among people. Absolute truth. Absolute truth, on the other hand, is objective and remains constant regardless of individual perspectives. An example of an absolute truth is, "I am a human being, and you are a human being." This statement is universally accepted and does not change based on personal beliefs or experiences. Absolute truths are foundational and form the basis of shared understanding in society. When we take a magnifying glass to both examples of what may be true to either of us, it becomes clear that there is both a relative and absolute aspect to what we are willing to define as true. The brain's role in determining truth. The brain itself is an extremely complex tool. Over centuries of scientific inquiry, we have come to understand that the brain is capable of accepting sensory input, which allows it to draw conclusions on the data after it has been able to make sense of it. This capacity of the brain to essentially make sense of the information that it has gleaned from the senses can be described as the capacity to reason. The process itself is complicated and involves highly sophisticated operations by our brain's neural network, but the result is undeniable. The brain accepts information from its senses and uses reason to draw conclusions that inform further actions. Understanding how the brain operates to structure incoming sensory input to build a framework for future action is critical in understanding what can be taken as true. In reality, the brain is simply taking as true what makes complete sense to it. If the information or knowledge does not make complete sense to it, then it could not be taken as the truth. However, it is important to note here that the brain is not simply deciding what is and is not true. Instead, it is using its capacity to reason to determine whether or not this information makes full and complete sense before making the determination that it is the truth. Trust and truth. Moreover, the human mind often takes things it hears as true if it trusts the source. This trust can be based on past experiences, perceived authority, or the reliability of the source. For example, if a respected scientist presents a new finding, people are more likely to accept it as true because they trust the scientist's expertise and credibility. However, even in the case of a trusted source, the underlying process for uncovering the truth remains the same. The brain evaluates the information presented by the trusted source and determines its reasonableness. The trust in the source simply facilitates the acceptance of the information, as the brain deems the source credible and the information consistent with existing knowledge and understanding. Thus, the brain's reliance on reason and its ability to make sense of the information is fundamental, regardless of the source's trustworthiness. Feelings and truth. Feelings also play a significant role in the brain's process of determining truth. Emotional responses can influence what we accept as true, as they are integral to how we perceive and interpret information. For instance, if a person feels strongly about the intelligence of human beings based on positive interactions and personal experiences, these feelings can reinforce their belief in this truth. The brain integrates both rational analysis and emotional input to form a coherent understanding of reality. Socratic wisdom and the evolution of the mind. Thousands of years ago, Socrates pointed out the limitations of human knowledge with his famous statement, "All I know is that I know nothing." This insight made sense to many and highlighted the inherent uncertainty in human understanding. Despite its profound truth, mankind has struggled to fully cognize and cope with this wisdom. One theory is that this difficulty partially arises from the way the human mind has evolved over time. The mind tends to seek certainty and coherence, often favoring clear and definitive answers over ambiguity. Socrates' statement challenges this natural inclination by emphasizing the importance of recognizing our own ignorance. To incorporate the truth of Socratic wisdom into our mental framework, the mind now requires a more reasoned approach. We need to develop a mindset that embraces uncertainty and values the process of questioning and exploration over the comfort of absolute answers. This involves critical thinking, encouraging a habit of questioning assumptions and critically evaluating information. Intellectual humility, acknowledging the limits of our knowledge and being open to new perspectives and ideas. Lifelong learning, committing to continuous learning and self-improvement, recognizing that our understanding of truth evolves over time. By adopting these principles, we can better align our mental framework with the wisdom of Socrates, fostering a deeper and more nuanced understanding of truth. The fear of truth. The journey toward understanding and accepting truth often invokes a deep-seated fear within individuals. This fear can manifest for several reasons. Fear of the unknown. Human beings are naturally inclined to fear the unknown. Seeking truth often requires venturing into areas of uncertainty and confronting questions that may not have clear answers. This uncertainty can be unsettling and intimidating. Fear of change. Discovering deeper truths can lead to significant changes in one's beliefs, values, and perspectives. This can disrupt a person's sense of stability and identity, leading to resistance and fear of such transformations. Fear of cognitive dissonance. When new truths conflict with pre-existing beliefs, it creates cognitive dissonance, a state of mental discomfort. To avoid this discomfort, individuals may subconsciously resist accepting new truths. Fear of responsibility. Knowledge brings responsibility. Understanding deeper truths can compel individuals to take actions or make decisions they may prefer to avoid. This can create a fear of the consequences that come with new knowledge. Fear of isolation. Holding beliefs or understanding truths that differ from the majority can lead to social isolation or conflict. The fear of being ostracized or misunderstood can discourage individuals from seeking or accepting certain truths. To overcome these fears, individuals must cultivate courage and resilience. This involves embracing uncertainty, accepting that not all questions have immediate answers, and that uncertainty is a natural part of the human experience. Being open to change, understanding that growth and transformation are essential aspects of personal development. Managing cognitive dissonance, developing strategies to reconcile conflicting beliefs, such as critical thinking and open-mindedness. Accepting responsibility, recognizing that with knowledge comes the power to make positive changes, both personally and socially. Building support networks, seeking like-minded individuals or communities that support the pursuit of truth and provide a sense of belonging. By addressing these fears, individuals can more effectively embark on their journey toward a deeper and more meaningful understanding of the truth. It requires courage, but the pursuit is invaluable for personal growth and the betterment of society. The role of language in understanding truth. Language plays a crucial role in this process of distinguishing between relative and absolute truths. As a tool for communication, language allows us to convey complex ideas, share experiences, and build collective knowledge. In the case of a shared language, the truth of reality is first hypothesized by a single human mind and, through the process of reason and mutual understanding with other human minds, a word is developed seemingly from thin air. As a result, the word itself becomes a bridge of understanding between these minds. As the human mind develops a deeper understanding of language, it is able to develop a deeper connection not to the actual truth behind the concept represented by the word, but instead, to the ways in which other human minds understand the concept for themselves in a way that makes sense for their respective realities. This shared understanding is essential for effective communication and the development of collective knowledge. This understanding of language is exceptionally important to understanding philosophical thought, because there is a great deal of confusion and mystery regarding the differences between our understandings of the myriad of Different concepts that shape our realities. Language grants us a remarkable method for attaining a better understanding of concepts that might otherwise be far too difficult to grasp for a single human mind with any sense of clarity and meaning in our lives. In summary, multiple minds can and do work together through the process of reasoning to develop a better shared understanding of a concept. As a result, everyone's shared understanding of this concept is refined. The concepts in our brains would never have been shareable or refinable without the clear absolute nature of the truth behind these concepts. However, the words themselves could never be said to completely or actually represent the absolute truth of reality, since this was never something that any human mind was capable of fully discerning in the first place. An illustrative example. Imagine a cat that sees a mouse run into a small hole in the wall. The cat sees the mouse running into the hole and can comfortably believe that it is true that the mouse ran into the hole, given that it makes complete sense when examining all the relevant information. However, simply because it makes complete sense to the cat doesn't mean it is actually the case. The truth could be that the cat is hallucinating. Thus, though the cat's truth is that the mouse ran into the hole, the certainty of the cat's understanding of its own truth will forever be in question. After all, the cat can only understand the world through its brain and its brain's capacity to reason and draw conclusions based on the information it receives. It's also important to realize that the conclusion was drawn for a very good reason. If the cat could not understand and cognize the truth that the mouse had run into the hole, it would not be able to make any other decisions as a result of this presumption. Perhaps the cat would decide to find a small piece of cheese to use as bait for the mouse in order to lure it from the hole. Conclusion. From this, we can agree on a few things. Firstly, the brain can never be fully certain that what it believes is actually the case. Secondly, the brain uses reason, which is the amalgamation of several high-level neural operations, to draw conclusions about the information collected by the senses to inform its behavior. Additionally, the mind often relies on trusted sources to accept certain truths, highlighting the importance of credibility and reliability in shaping our understanding of reality. However, the process of uncovering the truth remains consistent. The brain evaluates the information and determines its reasonableness. Furthermore, feelings play an essential role in this process, as emotional responses can reinforce or challenge our perceptions of truth. In the analogy of the cat and mouse, there isn't much of a requirement for the cat to distinguish between a well-reasoned belief and what is actually true. The cat's actions are guided by what makes immediate sense to it, even if that understanding might be flawed. Humans, however, face a more complex reality. For us, distinguishing between what merely makes sense and what makes complete sense is crucial, both individually and collectively. Even in isolation, an individual human finds it essential to differentiate between information that makes sense and information that makes complete sense. This distinction is critical for making informed decisions, solving problems, and understanding the world accurately. A belief that merely makes sense might be based on incomplete or misleading information, whereas a belief that makes complete sense has been thoroughly vetted through reason, evidence, and introspection. Furthermore, humans have determined that a shared understanding of reality is vital for effective communication and collaboration. Language, as a tool for conveying ideas, relies on this shared understanding. For instance, the word car must have a common meaning for us to communicate effectively about it. This shared understanding forms the foundation of societal interactions and collective knowledge. Therefore, humans strive to distinguish between well-reasoned beliefs and actual truths, not only to refine their individual perceptions, but also to build a coherent and reliable shared reality. This continuous process of evaluation and re-evaluation helps ensure that our collective understanding is based on the most accurate and comprehensive information available. These are the stepping stones of thought required to achieve a greater understanding of the world around us, without exposing ourselves to falsehoods, lies, and presumptions within our own minds. This is a danger to which humans are highly susceptible, given the nature of our minds. The mind naturally attempts to develop an understanding of reality that makes complete sense to it. Of course, there is nothing wrong with this natural process. However, as thinkers, we must be able to clearly define what can and cannot make complete sense for us. We must fully understand that our thinking would be flawed if we were ever to take a snapshot of reality and believe it to be the complete truth. In reality, for humans, this so-called complete truth doesn't exist, and has never been something that the mind has been fully capable of understanding due to the nature of our brains having a finite capacity to consume and digest the information we receive to establish a coherent worldview. However, just because the complete truth is elusive does not mean that the quest for understanding has no value. This simply means that every human being must courageously embark on their own journey to seek a deeper and more meaningful understanding of the truth in their own lives, towards a collective consciousness. A fundamental understanding of the nature of truth is critical if we are to develop a greater understanding of a possible collective human consciousness. By embracing the quest for personal truth, each individual contributes to the broader tapestry of human knowledge and experience. This collective effort can lead to a more profound shared understanding, fostering a collective consciousness that transcends individual limitations. This collective consciousness could enhance our ability to solve global challenges, foster empathy, and create a more harmonious and interconnected world.